Hello everyone, Anand back again. Happy Independence Day to each one of you. Friends, today I'm going to talk about two words and I'd like to dive deep and then see how we can perceive this. Word number one is alignment, word number two is agreement. Quite normally, we use agreement and alignment in our day to day conversations and discussions, right? Especially when it comes to professional practices or business practices. Let's dive deep into these two words. According to my little understanding, alignment predominantly deals with um, friends and families, relatives, associates on a personal front. Maybe even the ideologies, the belief system that we have, each one of us, where alignment plays a huge role, where agreement has a very little role to play. Because we don't ask for agreement for everything that we are supposed to follow or we are supposed to practice. So, predominantly, the alignment goes for kind of paperless, term sheetless kind of a relationship or engagement, correct? More so with families, friends, relatives, and relationships, those areas. But when it comes to agreement, it is mainly the moment the word agreement is told, like you would be able to immediately connect with, uh, you know, for example, property purchase where we get into agreement, or any professional services that we do with our clients, we get into agreement. Any business partnership that we involve, immediately we run to chartered accountants, the legal people for agreement. But why on earth, when it comes to alignment, which are predominantly our personal life oriented, our personal life is at stake, kind of initiatives like the belief system or following certain practices, the good practices that we never practiced, because somebody said I'm starting the practice for my physical well-being or mental well-being or emotional well-being or my family well-being. But we don't seek for agreement. We just listen, understand, and if we feel we are right, we can go ahead, we'll go ahead. There are no term sheets for that, right? Why? There are two aspects to it. One, according to my understanding of life, one is we think that there are no expectations with respect to all these areas pertaining to alignment. No expectations, either side. Therefore, we tend to simply take it for granted. Nobody is going to sue me, so if I like it, I do it. If I don't like it, I stop it because there are no expectation. There are no commercial transactions. Because generally we feel anywhere, any place where commercial aspects are involved, financial aspects are involved, the terms and conditions are very stringent and the stake is more. Therefore, we get into agreement. But we think in alignment, especially relationships, ideologies to be followed or to be imbibed, there are no agreements. So we simply say there is no expectation, so I'll go for it. But I look at it a little differently. You just think about it. After all, in our little understanding, it's just one life, right? We are going to live one life. Whatever number of years have passed already, and whatever number of years are going to be fulfilled shortly. Let's say even a person lives 100 years, you are 40. Okay, another 60 years. But 100 is something big. We don't know when we are going to end this. When the nature ends it, rather. We are not going to end it. Nature will end it anyway at some point in time. So what happens is there are definitely a lot of expectations, though it is not financially applicable. Look at it from alignment perspective. What are those expectations? There is certainly going to be LOC, line of control, right? Even in relationships, even very close relationships, even father and mother, father and son, mother and daughter. Surely there is going to be LOC, line of control. One cannot cross that line of control, how much ever we are close. The second is help in need. When we are desperate on certain things, on basic life needs, I'm sure relationships, after all, for that only, right? To extend support. What is the point in supporting unknown people and put it in Facebook, but we don't even help our own families who are suffering or struggling for basic survival, right? So help in need is one of the important commitment, one of the important underneath expectation, definitely there. Empathy, showing empathy when I'm in distress, I'm struggling in life. Don't we think we are supposed to make a phone call or meet somebody or at least WhatsApp them and say, how are you right now? You are not well, so you are undergoing certain distress in life. Empathy, which is again implied, right? Implied expectations. Responsibility. It's not like, in my mom used to always say in Tamil, kan பார்த்தா கை செய்யணும். It's a very old Tamil, வழக்கு Tamil, as they say, old adage. So when we see somebody is struggling, is it not my responsibility because I'm already aligned with him? I should go voluntarily without even somebody telling me. The complete responsibility of a leader, as we call in business. Then comes care. Don't we care our own people? We definitely care, right? So when we are aligned with people, this is automatic. It's kind of autopilot mode. It has to function. And final one, love, especially the unconditional love that we are supposed to exhibit, demonstrate, pour to the other person with whom we are already aligned. So these are the things, some of the things. There are many things that you can add actually. Some of the things are very, very vital signs of any alignment, which is not written in a paper document and signed by both the parties with a seal with the witness. No. Which means it is already there by default. So there are expectations which is there, underneath, which we are expected to, perform when somebody is in need. So this is under the alignment part of it. But we don't talk big thing on term sheet in this matter. We just assume that it is there very much. When it comes to agreement, naturally, I don't have to talk about agreement. Agreement is an agreement. It's an SOP that we are supposed to follow certain rules and regulation. If you take right, but not left, according to the SOP, then you are supposed to pay something, are supposed to follow the rules and regulations, right? The law of the land, it could be law of the organization, law of the engagement. It happens, by the way, anyway. In fact, if you look at a wedding, they do, the nichyatartham, engagement. There is an agreement between the parties, but in a very, very subtle way. It is actually done in a very, very ritualistic way. So it is not seen as like lawyer sitting and then witnesses sitting and then, things like that. It is actually communicated to the party, the respective parties, that you are now binded and so many people are watching and so many people are witnessing it. But they don't talk more than this. They make it as a kind of a ritual function, and there ends the matter in 10 to 15 minutes time. Everybody understood without talking about it. But when it comes to agreement, pure agreement, hardcore agreement, where everybody talks about all the rules and regulations, because we don't know each other, things like that. And financial transactions are straight away involved. Imagine financial transactions only one part. Don't you think even in business or in professional life, more than financial transaction, the relationship matters most? After all, if you don't have a strong relationship with other person, other party, how much our agreement is strong, we are not anyway going to perform wholeheartedly, as they say, right? So wholeheartedly, somebody has to passionately support each other in the partnership too. Otherwise, it's only like, each one is pulling in different directions, and uh, I mean, we don't really get to see the end result as we envisage. So agreement is known to everybody predominantly. Now, let's look at the variable. What exactly is the variable which is actually going to integrate these two, if at all? If a relationship goes smoothly, I'm talking even about business relationship or professional practices, professional engagement with clients, with partners, where nobody is actually questioned about anything, but because it's perfectly aligned, for the sake of it, they also have created a document like agreement. You know the variable? The variable is, it's a wonderful variable. Mutual trust and respect. As long as, sorry, as long as we created between us the mutual trust and respect, it's mutual, right? Obviously, I think 90% of the issues are solved. 90% of the relationship is strengthened already. 10% is only doing little bit execution here and there, and actually speaking, agreement has no role to play. But for the sake of it, it is there because law of the land. We just have to simply follow it. So the mutual trust and respect, it's a very big topic. We will definitely see as we go along in our future podcast. It's a very huge topic. The global leaders have talked about it in length and breadth on this topic, because the basic understanding of trust and respect itself is something quite different from what normally we perceive or we understand. We will keep that subject a little later for our future podcast to play. So the variable now, I could say, the mutual trust and respect plays a huge role for this alignment and agreement. Just look at another perspective. The cost of any relationship failure is irreparable. Imagine, you may say that in alignment kind of relationship or friends, families, and relationship where we don't have agreement, paper agreement, document, stamp paper, but the cost of any relationship is very, very costly. It's irreparable. Suppose you are a friend of somebody for 30 years and suddenly 31st year, for some reason, for emotional reason or some reason, we don't know what, it is broken. It is broken means it's broken simple. And you don't have agreement, right? I mean, you can't bring agreement in relationship is when the relationship is broken. Probably you can bring it husband and wife divorce, that too for financial mitigation and family protection. But inside the heart, it's broken. It's irreparable. So I would say the alignment is more at stake rather than agreement, because alignment has no insurance for it. Just a belief system. I believe you, I trust you that you don't cheat me, you don't betray me. We have seen many people, who succumb to such situation where there is no legal aspect to protect them. It's gone. So many people, so many relationship failures, they just swallow it in their life, and then probably some people get into depression too, right? So alignment is actually very serious matter than agreement. At least agreement you have some papers to follow. In alignment there are no papers to instruct, or nobody can really question you. You have to question yourself from the deepest core of your heart. So this is one side of the story. So let me conclude this. How am I going to conclude? I would like to conclude this like, any activity that we do with people or place or law of the land or whatever, maybe family, friends, profession, business, clients, engagements. I look at it like it's like a train. In a train, you need to have the locomotive driver, pilot in the front, motorist as they call, right? we call simply a driver, a common language. We need a driver at the front. But you also need to have a guard at the back, the last coach of the train, 8th or 10th or 12th coaches of the train has to have a guard who will give signals, who will just keep track of. There are so many aspects for guard, SOP of the guard, railway guard. You just have to go Google and check it out. But driver drives, the pilot drives, he takes the engine forward. So I would say alignment is all about the driver's seat, has to sit on the driver's seat to push our life train go towards whatever the destination. And incidentally, the agreement, what I call a guard, which also have to be there at the back end of the train, which can give kind of a governance. If this is nicely done in a business or professional engagement, that bringing alignment first, agreement at the end. And agreement is incidental, and alignment is very important and vital. Similarly, on the relationship side and other side, as I mentioned earlier, LOC, the line of control, can be considered. We can't put paper for relationship agreement, then it is not relationship. But we can always mention line of control. We should know where we can step in and where we should not step into anybody's shoes. You would be able to recall Mr. K. Bhagiraj movie Chinna Veedu in Tamil, where his character called Madan. A friend comes after Bhagiraj marriage. Kalpana madam, the character was wife, and she was doing rangoli in the front of the house. When the friend comes, a friend asks Kalpana madam, the actress, in that movie, she was wife of Bhagiraj. Madan Rikana, where is Madan? And then she politely called, according to the character, she is qualified MA. She just politely called the friend. Today, he is not a single, he is married, I am his wife. Especially when you talk to wife, friend's wife, you have to tell, Madan Irkara, I want to meet him. And then, maybe you can go and watch in YouTube that particular comedy. It's fantastic. Bhagiraj narrated beautifully in that movie. How to really respect friend and how to deal with friend's wife, So this is how it can be looked at according to my understanding. I hope you appreciate that. Thank you very much for your listening, and if you like it, you kindly share it with your friends and families and business circle as well. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.